CNN just dropped some nightmare news on the Democrat Party, revealing that their own internal polling and analysis is predicting an absolute doomsday scenario for the Democrats in the 2026 midterms. What makes this so disheartening for the Democrats is this prediction includes everything they were hoping would ruin Trump's favorability with the public. Mishandling of the you-know-who files, tariffs, Medicaid cuts in the big beautiful bill, deportations, alligator Alcatraz, everything you can think of that would hurt Trump's numbers, and still, it looks like a massive red wave is incoming. Also, the View's Anna Navarro gets her opinion slightly challenged on CNN and descends into some racist tirade, perfectly illustrating why the Democrat Party is so unlikable and in complete shambles. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 300,000 subscribers. But before I show you the doomsday scenario prediction, which ironically is the most likely case, let me show you what CNN predicts to be the best case scenario for them.
So compare this race to the last time we saw big Democratic surge, which was what, like 2006 and 2018?
Don't worry, Leslie Nielsen, I won't call you Shirley. Look, the bottom line is this. Democrats are behind their 2006 and 2018 paces when it comes to the generic congressional ballot. What are we talking about here? All right, the Democrats versus the Republicans on the generic congressional ballot, the margins. Look at where we are now. Democrats are ahead, but by just 2 points. Look at where Democrats were already ahead by in 2017. They were behind by 7 points. How about 2005 on the generic congressional ballot? Ahead by 7 points, ahead by 7 points, and now they're only ahead by 2 points. Their lead is less than half of where it was in either 2017 or 2005 in July of those years, the year before the midterm election. Yes, Donald Trump may be unpopular, but Democrats have not come anywhere close to sealing the deal at this particular point.
Yeah, wave looks very different.
Yeah.
So according to this best case scenario prediction, the Democrats would pick up 2 seats in the House, which still wouldn't be enough for them to get a majority, let alone even tie with the Republicans. And that's why on my channel, I try to cut through all the noise, all the fake polling, all the fake reports and surveys. Oh, Donald Trump is underwater 25 points on this issue. 68% are against deportations. It's important to be able to discern reasonable polling from unreasonable polling. That's how you get polls like the Des Moines Register predicting that Kamala Harris was going to win Iowa by double-digit points. The Democrat media frequently handpicks selective polling to try to push a narrative to their desperate and gullible viewers that the energy in the country is significantly more against Donald Trump than it actually is. And they're going to be just as disappointed as they were on November 5th, 2024, when they realized their media had been lying to them and the American people overwhelmingly support Donald Trump. Here is CNN predicting an absolute bloodbath for the Democrats.
All right, this is the generic ballot test. This is when you test people in the generic question. Of course, the House races aren't generic. There are 435 of them. What happens when you go race by race?
What happens when you go race by race? Well, it's the same idea. Okay, House seat ratings with the GOP president, like back in 2005 and, of course, 2017. More net pickup seat chances. Well, last time around, look at that. Democrats were ahead by 33 seats. How about in 2005? Democrats were ahead by 7 seats. What's going on right now? It's actually Republicans. Actually, Republicans with more net pickup chances at plus 12, according to the Cook Political Report, when you add in the likelies, the leans, and the toss-up races. So it's not just on the generic ballot where Democrats are behind their 2017 and 2005 pace. It's actually when it comes seat by seat, you see that, at least at this particular point, Republicans actually have more net pickup opportunities. This doesn't look anything like those wave elections back in 2006 or 2008.
Holy MAGA Democrats are in trouble. The Democrats were plus 33 at this time in 2017 during Trump's first term. Now the Republicans are up 12. Again, this is despite the Democrats' No Kings protest, which was supposed to show that a majority of the nation was vehemently against Donald Trump. This is after all of the Doge cuts. This is the public sentiment even after taking into account every single thing the Democrats threw at the wall hoping it would stick. It seems like spending an entire month fighting to bring an MS-13 gang member back into the United States wasn't as popular as you thought it was. It turns out your 6 hours on the Capitol steps, or 24 hours filibustering, or 8 hours postponing the big beautiful bill kind of theatric speeches aren't galvanizing the American people around your cause. The Democrat Party is failing because they still refuse to learn from the lessons of their 2024 defeat. They are out of touch. They need to connect with the American people. Everything they do is for a headline, is for social media publicity, is for likes and clicks. And so they see the cheers and the applause from their radical, chronically online part of the base, who are hungry for chaos and destruction and Trump defiance. But outside of that small minority of people, the rest of America, even the ones who don't love Donald Trump, see one party that is being extremely productive and another party that is being peevish and ineffective. But the main reason, in my humble opinion, why the Democrat Party is so unpopular is because the snobby arrogance that they had during the Biden administration allowed them to compel everybody by force to accept, no, celebrate their beliefs because people didn't want to lose their job or lose their kids or be ostracized from society. So they kind of just went along with it. But now that they no longer have such a stranglehold on the institutions, people can speak their mind freely once again, engage in truth and reality. That snobbiness and arrogance is so off-putting. Here is The View's Ana Navarro on CNN having a meltdown because somebody on the panel had the audacity to question the opinion of a Latina Hispanic woman and starts descending into this racist tirade.
Millions of people out there protesting in small cities and big cities, small protests and huge protests, defying the fear, defying the reign of terror.
You're definitely being hyperbolic. You talk about a reign of terror. When the doomsday alarm from Democrats or from media critics is always at a 10, it doesn't hit the same, honestly.
Also, I want to respond to you saying that I was hyperbolic when I talked about a reign of terror.
Because that is hyperbolic.
No, it might be hyperbolic for you as a white man.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly
So
not hyperbolic for me as a
racist.
Latino. No, I'm not being racist.
It's incredible to dismiss my opinion for being a white man.
No, I'm not
is
dismissing
racist.
your opinion. I
Yes,
am telling you
are.
that what the Latino community, the brown
lot of them
community
disagree with you.
in
You do not
America.
speak in one voice
Okay,
for
well,
them.
let me speak with my voice. I mean, you said I was being hyperbolic.
you
Let me
insulted me
respond.
racially, sure.
I'm not. You being a white man as an insult?
When you invoke it to dismiss my
Being
opinion,
a white man
yes.
as an insult?
When you invoke it,
Are you?
as an
Do you
argument.
think? Do you think Latinos are living under circumstances that other people may not be right now in this country?
We're about to have a whole conversation about that very thing. But I just want to make a point that, Brad, all she's saying is that her view of the situation is different from yours. I don't think that's an insult.
She basically said, I'm wrong because I'm a white man.
She just said, I see it
No,
differently.
I said, I see it differently
She
because
said,
I'm an
I
immigrant
see it
Latino.
differently from you, which is not an insult. It's not, and it's also not a racial
also not
insult.
So Ana Navarro thinks she should be allowed to hyperbolically assert that the sky is falling. And the moment somebody tries to give her a little bit of pushback and say, hey, you're kind of being a little hysterical, it's, oh, shut up, white guy, your opinion doesn't matter. It's that knee-jerk reaction they developed during the Biden administration, where racism against white people was celebrated and glorified, while simultaneously declaring any reciprocal racism towards any black or brown people would be met with condemnation of the harshest magnitude. It's because part of the left's radical Marxist racial identity politics is redefining what racism means. Any normal person would define racism as discriminating against somebody based off of their race. But the left had to intertwine power structures in there. Racism can only be committed by the racial majority that wields all the systemic power. If you're a victim class, if you're an oppressed class, it's impossible for you to be racist because you don't wield any power that allows you to effectuate your racism. It's a typical part of a communist authoritarian playbook to redefine words with objective meaning to a definition you prefer in order to strengthen your position. That's why migrant detention facilities that have existed under Obama, Biden, Bush, Clinton, are suddenly now called concentration camps because Donald Trump's in charge. And they have no problem looking extremely ignorant and alarmist, as long as it makes them feel reaffirmed that Donald Trump is this bad Nazi guy, and they're these good loving people fighting him. But we all know if that guy would have said to Ana Navarro, "Shut up, your opinion is irrelevant, you're a Hispanic woman," she would have thrown a fit. Abby Phillips would have banned him from the show. Social media would have been up in arms. But what's funny is Ana Navarro can't even mask her racism. She thinks it's funny. She actually thinks it's cute. Here she is, just a week prior on CNN, being racist towards a black guy.
We could care less about Mickey Mouse primary challenges.
Now, let me ask you this. How the hell does the first openly gay Afro-Puerto Rican congressperson from the Bronx end up being establishment? What does establishment mean these days in the Democratic Party?
She doesn't even realize she just revealed her racism so blatantly. You're gay, you're black, you're Puerto Rican. Therefore, based on those three characteristics that don't define you at all, I have come to a conclusion in my head, Ana Navarro, that tells me everything I need to know about you. And because of that, I've assumed all kind of things about you, what you stand for, what you don't stand for, what's important to you, what you're capable of. And she's absolutely shocked that he could be considered part of the establishment because, wait, you're part of three categories that I consider lesser than. I consider these groups to be incompetent, to be oppressed and downtrodden. And she is absolutely shocked that he has risen to become a member of Congress that is considered part of the establishment. And she thinks she's being cutesy by asking this question, and you can see the look on the guy's face was one of complete annoyance. She's so arrogant and airheaded, she can't even understand the amount of prejudice her words carry. Wow, you're doing really good for a black person. Gay black Puerto Ricans are usually incompetent fools, so I'm absolutely shocked that you're in government. It's like only two things can be true, and each one exposes the Democrats equally as much. Number one, you buy into the worldview that America is systemically racist, it's a white supremacist country, black and brown people have a lower standing, they're incapable of accomplishing anything great. So, oh wow, oh my goodness, you're so surprised that this man is successful. Or two, you have to acknowledge that yes, he's part of the establishment because we're not a racist, homophobic country. You have to admit that your whole worldview about us being so discriminatory and bigoted checks all the boxes you think wouldn't be checked by somebody who's a part of the establishment. It's this Democrat pretentiousness that they're always right. They're so smart, they don't have to think before they speak. They think their moral compass is so strong that they could possibly never do the wrong thing. And this is embodied perfectly here by Gavin Newsom, who explains the story of him getting roasted by his Hispanic campaign manager for constantly using Latinx.
I joked with Charlie about Latinx. You know, I remember walking into my staff, I started using the word Latinx a few times. And then my chief of staff, who happens to be Hispanic, goes, "Would you shut up?" I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Who uses that word?" I said, "I don't know." She said, my whole staff said, "Do not ever use that word again." I'm like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Okay." And they literally stopped. I'll never forget. I was like, "Whoa." We were on this sort of Zoom conversation, and literally my Hispanic chief of staff is like, "Shut up."
This story sums up the issue with white liberals better than anything else. They have this white guilt and shame, and they believe that white people are the global oppressors. They believe in being anti-racist and supporting marginalized groups. So how do they do this in practice? Well, they go to a marginalized group, Hispanics for example, and tell them that they will now be referred to as Latinx because they believe with all their liberal pretentiousness that that's more inclusive. It's less offensive to Hispanics. Did they bother asking Hispanics? No, of course not. They just decided themselves that they're smart, they're morally right, so therefore this is the correct decision. Never mind Latinx not being part of the native Spanish language and Latino and Latina being how they've always been referred because they have a gender language. It's no. We're white liberals. We've decided gender is offensive. Everything needs to be inclusive. And because you're dumb, brown, marginalized, disadvantaged Hispanics, you guys can't see that it's offensive. So us almighty white liberals will take care of the problem for you. But they can never see that that's the arrogant reality of their actions. You want to prove to Hispanics that you're not these big bad white colonizers, so what do? You colonize their language. Stick your nose where it doesn't belong. Tell people how they have to think, how they have to feel, and how they have to be referred to. They don't have any common sense. They don't think about this even for a second. They just go along with whatever the wokest person with the loudest voice has to say. It's like race is such a priority for Democrats, they refuse to just acknowledge people as simply American. It's this Democrat virtue signaling, political correctness that has taken black people from being called Negroes to colored people, to African Americans, to black people, now back to people of color. They'll do everything except for just call them Americans. They are the ones constantly perpetuating the racism that they're seemingly trying to fight against. That was dead on arrival before they resurrected it. It's that superiority complex that makes them so unrelatable and so unlikable. And that is explicitly why, despite their best attempts to try to sully Donald Trump's reputation, they are looking at a giant red wave on the horizon in the 2026 midterms. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those notification bells so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.